Ready, sir?
Looks good, sir.
Okay.
As music director, what has changed in that career over the past 30, 40 years? It's very different today than it was when you started. What do you see the changes? How have they occurred? Has it been financial? Has it been just the technology in the world has changed over the past 30 years? How has that affected the job of music director?
Well, the job of music director has changed enormously because I think today it's extremely difficult in the financial context or in which we live to be, for instance, this week here in Philadelphia, we did a program with the work by Frank Martin, who is a Swiss composer, then Mendelssohn, and Bela Bartok, and so on. And I was telling my musicians here, these were standards programs when I was younger. At the time of Ensemble, every week we had things like that with new works. Every week new works. Of course, we had a bunch of great composers around: Stravinsky, Poulenc, Hindemith, Fayard. So they were all there. We don't have that many great geniuses today. There are a lot of composers, but I mean, these were the major composers of the time. You see.
Yeah, they were live.
But today, you have to fill the hall. You have a financial responsibility. So if you bring too many new pieces or new things like that, it may affect the sales. And we hear that. I mean, it's like a burden. We hear only that. What is important is to sell. So it's more difficult than at the time where a music director was there for a long period and had to have a vision and create his public, educate. The public wanted to be educated, was following the music director. Now, do they do that anymore? I don't think so, because the younger people are completely spoiled by this technology.
Yeah.
They have access to all sorts of information, to YouTube or Google and so on. You don't even think, you just click something and you get the information. And this has this source of incredible sort of a fountain of information is also, has changed also the education of the musicians. You see, we go back to the time of Bach. Bach had to walk from Leipzig to Lübeck, which is 5 or 6 days, to walk, just to hear a recital by Buxtehude, you see, which was the greatest organist of his time. Okay, when I was a kid, we're talking about that, we couldn't buy recordings. I didn't have the money. It was 78 things that, we needed 5 or 6 records for a symphony, and it was very expensive. I was going to the shop and asked the permission to listen to something, and the ladies who were selling these records knew me and they knew my enthusiasm and so on. So I could or follow concerts on the radio. I was spending my summer going before the summer to the conservatory with 2 bags, empty bags, and then I would ask her to borrow or as many scores as I could to spend the summer listening to the radio and the Proms concerts in London and the other. That was my thing. Today, you have a problem. You have all this information online, you see, and so people learn. It's so fast today how they learn. They can digest a symphony in 2 weeks or 3 weeks of work. At my time, it was 8 or 9 months to study a piece. Today, no, it's to change. It's unbelievable. So technique has changed also for the instrumentalists. When the beginning of the century, when people like Stravinsky, they play these things with no effort whatsoever. It goes very fast. So all together, this has changed probably also the responsibility and the need of vision of a music director. Also, let's say when I, for instance, personally went to Montreal in 1977 and I stayed 25 years, we made over 100 records. And these recordings helped enormously to build the image of the orchestra, of course. Today, there is no recording company who is going to come and do 100 records with any orchestra, you see, because the recording business is changed.
It's
Also.
changed
It
so
goes
much.
Online.
Yeah.
You do some videos here, little
Yeah.
bits, or you buy. You can buy online a movement of a symphony
That's
or
right.
an overture or something. So, so you see that older school like Ormandy and the huge amount of recordings he did with the Philadelphia Orchestra created an image,
Yeah.
and without these recordings, he could not have. The Philadelphia Orchestra would not have that same image. You see, Berlin Philharmonic, same thing. Anselme, my teacher,
Yeah.
also was 48 years or 45, little less than Normandy, in Geneva, made hundreds of records and built the image of this association as a music director, the orchestra, and created a sound with the hall in which he was playing, and the repertoire also was important. Today, everyone does everything, which is fine, but it's the cult of the personality more than the real result of a deep thinking about how to build a place, and so. So
I
this
understand.
the result is that, you see, we are living in a society of information. People are well informed. Are they more cultured? I'm not sure. Because culture is not that surface of where you can get, you don't know how to spell a word. Okay, you don't even take the trouble to take your dictionary, turn the pages, you just click,
You
poof,
push a button.
you get it on the spot. And it's a completely different thing. For the real culture, the deep culture, you need to have the time to digest. It's not even that you have to think about it, but it's normal. Like a good wine takes time to bloom.
Yeah.
And you see, it's the same thing. Today you drink Beaujolais Nouveau all the time.
And in our next installment, the maestro will talk about listening to music at home. Stay tuned for the Maestro Charles Dutoit.